Welcome, Miss Chia on the stage. Yeah, welcome, Miss Chia. Yep.
I reckon.
Yeah, thank you for sharing this session with us. So what happened next is that I'm going to have a good audience, which is myself. Yeah, I'll be sitting here, listen to the talk. Yeah, throughout the next 20 or 30 minutes without stopping you. And then on behalf of all of the audience, probably I will have 2 or 3 questions that generally people will have some question on the behalf of the audience. Yep. So are we ready for the quick sharing? Yeah. Are you guys ready? Yeah. Yes.
Definitely, we are all ready. Yeah.
Now the stage is yours, Miss Chia.
Okay,
Let's go.
Thank you, Mr. MC, for the kind introduction. So, my name is Chia. I'm from Focus Point. For today, I'll be talking about myopia, what research say. So, I'm a UKM graduate. A bit about myself. So, I did my degree and master's in UKM. I also lectured in SAGI and UCSI University for several years. I did training for Bosch & Lomb, a contact lens and solution company. I've also done training for Bolton Optical Group, which is a smaller optical group of 50 outlets. Apart from that, I've also served as the Secretary of Association of Malaysian Optometrists. I've also organized a few seminars and also have been their editor of their newsletter for several months. So what is myopia? Myopia is short-sightedness. It normally happens when your eyeball is too long. Okay, and for myopic people, normally they see blur at far. So if we actually look at this map, it actually shows that myopia affects all around the world. The worst of it is in Eastern Asia. In Hong Kong, we have 80% of population myopic. In Singapore, we have 74% of population myopic. In Japan, we have 60% of population myopic. And also in South Korea, 97% of population myopic. So we can see Eastern Asia is very myopic, and we are actually somewhere between that. We are at Southeast Asia. Malaysia is at about 33% in 2020. So on average, if we actually break it down to race, Chinese Malaysians are about 42% myopia. 42% of Malaysian Chinese are myopic, and 15% of Malaysian Malay are myopic. So the average is about 33%. So if we actually look at this, it actually shows us a projection. Population of myopia is expected to increase to about 50% by 2050. Half of the world will be myopic. So this is actually a very alarming statistic. And also this has actually gained attention and concern from eye care practitioners around the world. So this is actually a slide that actually shows the risk of diseases with relation to myopia. If you have myopia, and especially this part here, the high myopia, you have generally higher risk of cataract, 5 times more risk, higher risk of glaucoma, 青光眼, 14 times more risk, higher risk of retinal detachment, 13 times more risk, and higher risk of myopic maculopathy, 845 times more risk of myopic maculopathy. So generally when you are myopic, your risk is higher and your diseases tend to come earlier. So how to control myopia? We have spectacles. So different spectacles, different contact lenses. In spectacles, we have brands like Essilor, Hoya, Zeiss. In contact lenses, we have brands like Natural View, Cooper Vision, maybe Biofinity center distance lenses. And for hard lenses, we also have what we call the Auto-K, the OK lens, where we actually sleep with it at night. Okay. Apart from that, we also have drops to control myopia. So we can actually do a drop itself, atropine, which is myopin, at 0.01%, 0.025%, and 0.05%, dependent on the preference of the eye doctor. Or we can also do a combination therapy where we can combine the auto-K with atropine or the glasses with atropine, which is much more effective. So the topic is, what does research say? So the finding of this presentation will mostly be from this APMMS, which is Asia Pacific Myopia Management Symposium that was held last month. And also IMC, International Myopia Conference, held last month. And part of the data is also from Myopia Profile and Australia website. So we will travel around the world today. First country to go will be India. This finding is from India, from someone named Satish Kumar. So they actually found that urbanization has a contribution to myopia, meaning if you are living in, maybe comparing living in Mua and living in JB, the JB people tend to be more myopic and more short-sighted. So second study is from Brazil, Southern America. So the study is by someone named Patricia Gas. So Patricia actually found that electronic devices, usage of iPads, iPhone, or laptop of more than 5 hours a day will double the risk of short-sightedness or myopia. So it is true that if your child is always on the phone or on the iPad, they tend to be more myopic or more short-sighted. Third study is from Singapore by Sayantan Biswas. So he actually found that dim lighting will actually lead to greater axial length changes. So if you always read in the dark, you tend to be more myopic. So that is also a truth, not a myth, yeah? So, and this study is actually from Singapore as well. So they actually found that myopic macular degeneration, a condition where your macula degenerates, tend to be predicted by a higher myopia and a longer axial length. So this study was done by So Xiang Mei, a very well-known professor in Singapore. From China, we have the next study from Guangzhou, which actually tells us that if we actually add 40 minutes to outdoor activity to the day-to-day school time, the break, it can actually help in reducing the incidence or the occurrence of myopia in the next 3 years. So outdoor activity, sun exposure, adequate sun exposure is very important to control myopia. The next study is also from China. So this is from Wenzhou University. So it's on myopia control lens. They actually found that when we actually add combination therapy, atropine and DIMS, which is myopia control lens from Hoya. So there's also higher control, a stronger control, which is 2 times of just atropine itself, just the drug itself. So the next study is also from China, so from Yang and also from Zhang. So they actually found that 0.05% of atropine is actually the most effective concentration of the drug for myopia control. So in the LAMP study, this is LAMP study 2. In LAMP study 1, they actually compared 0.01%, 0.025%, and 0.05% and concluded that instead of using 0.01% that is most popular at the moment, we should be opting for 0.05%, which is more effective. So next we are going to United States, and they actually study on red light. Red light therapy is a new therapy for myopia control to control short-sightedness. So we actually have a low intensity red light for a certain exposure time. And they found that not all devices are safe. There's a lot of devices in the market, but only group 2 devices, group 2 devices are found to exceed the safe limit. These are from iRising and Sky N1201 manufacturer. And from America as well, we have Noel Brennan and Mark Bullimore. They also did study on myopia control. This one on the rebound effect. So what they actually found is that low dose atropine, 0.01, 0.05%, and also optical treatment like Stellus from Essilor, Teams from Hoya, and also the Zeiss Myocare are actually less in rebound effect, meaning if you actually use it for myopia control, when you stop using it, there is less side effect. It will not come back, the power will not rebound. Yeah. And we are going to South Korea. This is actually a chart. We can see the chart there is two peaks. The peak is at 20 years old and at 60 to 70 years old for retinal detachment. So this is 视网膜脱落 retinal detachment. It's very high percentage in people with myopia, especially high myopia. And you can see the peak is between 20 to 30 and 60 to 70. So they actually found that the younger generation, the 20 to 30 peak is actually caused by myopia. And older generation, the 60 to 70 peak is due to posterior vitreous detachment of the interior jelly of the eye. And it is actually contributed by myopia as well. So they actually found that generally myopia leads to an increased risk of retinal detachment and a peak at 20 to 30 years old and 60 to 70 years old. So food for thought today, we have gone through about 10 researchers from around the world, and the food for thought is actually early intervention is the key. So myopia management or myopia control is very important, and I'm sure for Bracken today, maybe it's the first time he hear that we can actually control myopia.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So early intervention is the key. So for children with myopia, for parents with child with myopia, it's important to understand myopia management and start it young. So what are you waiting for? Let us go to Focus Point optical outlets and get your eyes checked by our professional optometrist today. They will recommend you with the suitable myopia control, myopia management options so that we can actually halt myopia or stop myopia at the point it is at today and prevent it from becoming worse or more severe and causing secondary diseases. So I pass the floor back to Bracken. I believe he has some questions on behalf of the floor.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Miss Chia. Can we have a big, big round of applause? If you happen to the floor, thank you. First of all, I am extremely excited. I love the way how you conducted the talk, that you brings all the audience throughout the world tour, right? So I think myopia, you call it short-sighted in a generic term, if you guys are not familiar with myopia terms, right? Now, I know it is generally happen all around the world. So that is why you bring us, from developed country to, some urban area and things like that. And then I think the trend is pretty shocking. The first one, I noticed there is a graph, right? Projected from now to 2050. In a 30 years time, almost 1 out of 2 people will get this kind of problem. I think now, right, we see the trend actually. So for me, myself, I could not stay without smartphone. I could not stay without my laptop because I need to work and things like that. And even in a city area, the lights, everything happen in an environment, something that we really can't control, right? So I think it's very critical and important for every single one passing by here because you might or may facing this problem. So one quick question. Yeah, finally, as you mentioned, I have a few questions that probably our audience will be interested to look at. Is that a cure, or is there any medicines that if I were the patient, actually I am having short-sighted on my right-hand side, I have an uneven power. So my left hand is about 50, things like that, and my right hand is going to be 150. This is for my latest figure. So what can I do if I want to balance out and then to get rid of the trouble of myopia? Ms. Chia.
My understanding of your question is you want to get rid of the myopia.
Exactly. I want to totally, get rid of my lifetime.
You cannot get rid of it because
no.
the eyeball size is something like your feet. If you are a size 8, it will not shrink and become a size 6.
Oh.
So your 150 is because of your eyeball length. Yeah, so you cannot get rid of it because it will still be that length, panjang. But you can actually correct it. So you can go for LASIK surgery, that's an option. But your eyeball will still be that length. Yeah, so
Got
you
it.
can correct it with a LASIK surgery, or you can wear contact lenses to correct it, but you cannot get rid of the eyeball length. It's still that long.
It is already formed, right?
Yes,
the
it's
shape
already
is already
formed.
there.
Yes,
right?
yes. It's already formed. So even if a child, they have 300 minus 3 power, you cannot get rid of minus 3, but you can maintain the power at minus 3 by using myopia management options.
Got it.
Yeah.
So the quick answer, if you happen to have a similar case like me, yeah, the shape itself, right, you cannot get rid already because it's already formed.
Yes.
But one of the most important things is you can prevent it to getting worse, right?
Yes.
You can control if I were
Especially
having
when you
150,
are
right?
undergoing puberty, when you are growing,
Yeah.
like when you are when you're young or when you are in your teens, you
Exactly.
are growing, you can prevent it from becoming worse.
I see, I
Yeah.
see. So talking about prevention, right? I did not realize, or I may not know when I got this, unbalanced power and things like that. Maybe probably when I was young, right?
Yeah.
I probably realized, lying myself on the bed, reading some books. During that time, not many smartphone, yeah? So for kids, right? Because there's a lot of parents here listen to our talk. So is there any syndrome that, as a parents, we can notice or we can find whether my kids are prone or already showing the sign of myopia? Is there any syndrome
Yeah,
that we
normally
can tell? Yeah.
you may see them copying the wrong things from the board because they are not seeing clearly.
I see.
So they may copy the wrong things. The notes may be inaccurate from the board. They may tell you that distance is blurred. They may always squint their eyes. Yeah, so they squint their eyes to see clearer. It's called a pinhole effect. Some people, they will end up with some abnormal head posture, like they tilt their head to see something, tilt their head.
It's very common.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very common, especially like if you see you are an isometrope, one eye got power, one eye no power.
Yeah.
Maybe they will tilt towards one side so that they can use the clearer eye to see.
They can get a visual from the other corner, right?
Yeah, so things like squinting, things like abnormal head posture, things like copying the things wrongly, far vision blur, these are some of the signs or symptoms of myopia. Yeah.
All right. And I noticed from Focus Point today, where I think the organization did a really good job, to having such a big booth here. So if I am thinking to get my kids or even the parents, him or herself, into our booth today, so what they can benefit from the floor? Is there anything they can do a quick check? Is there anything they can access to the things that happen in the back of the corner? What they can do?
We actually have 4 stations today. The first station is to check your power, whether you have short-sightedness, astigmatism. Second station is to check your anterior health, the front part of your eye. So basically, we are looking for conditions like dry eye and cataract, eye allergies. Third station is an eye pressure check. We are looking for conditions like glaucoma. Fourth station is a fundus retina check, the internal eye. So we are looking for conditions like macular degeneration, glaucoma also can on fourth station, retinal detachment, retinal tear, and any degeneration from myopia. So basically, we also do have an extra station for the children. We check their eyeball length to see if it's exceeding the normal length. If it is, then if it's growing too fast, then we may talk about myopia management options. And for the roadshow, today is the last day. We actually have a promotion. If you go on myopia management lenses, we free a frame, so you can save about 150 to 200 off the frame. So you don't have to pay for the frame, you just pay for the lens.
Wow,
Yeah.
very nice promotion shout out. And I think it's not only the last day, it is also almost the last 8 hours before we wrap it up the show, right?
Before we wrap up the show, yes.
Exactly. I think that 3 questions sums up in generic way that people have a myth and then maybe have some doubts about myopia, or we call it short-sighted. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, with that, I want to say on behalf of the audience a big thank you to Ms. Chia
Yes,
for
thank you very
preparing
much.
so
You're
much
welcome.
in-depth research with figures, with data across different demographics. Well done. Thank you so much. Can we have a big
Yes.
round of applause
Thank
to Ms. Chia?
you.